let's start with a build here. Just a couple of things I want to show you on this model that I didn't realize when I unboxed it here. A couple neat things. One neat thing is the cowling comes off really easily. It just has magnets right here. It has a couple magnetic plates here and the counterparts there, so you can get to the motor and ESC and stuff really easily there. So that goes on just like that. And the other thing is, I was wondering what this thing was here. So I pulled on it, and it pulls this little hatch off, and that allows you access to get into the servos back here that control the vertical and horizontal stabilizers, the rudder and elevators. So that's really kind of cool too. So okay, let's start with the build. So first thing on the instruction list is the nose gear. So it simply slides down in. There's a little flat spot here. There's an Allen head screw right there. So you just drop that right down into place. And take the Allen head, and it should tighten right down against that flat spot. And then we'll make adjustments to that later. So this is the Allen head, the Allen wrench that came with it, I should say. So that part is all done. So first step is out of the way with. And the next step is to do the landing gear. Okay, let me grab the landing gear. I left it over here. I didn't think I was ready for that yet. Okay. So the landing gear, main gear. Now, like I said, this is a different design than the other one that I had. This has separate landing gear, and each one goes in. Helps if I get it on the right side. Let me take this one so you can see better here. Hopefully you can see this. Hold this over a little bit. And so this goes in just like that. Secure it in. And there's a couple screw holes here. And you just take the screws, put them in there. They come right in the bag with the landing gear. Let me find them here. So I'm going to go ahead and put the other two screws in, or the other, there's two screws apiece, put the two screws in here, and then put the other landing gear and put them in there, and then we'll move on to the next step. One thing that I should mention that I went ahead and did already was that on all of the control surfaces, they always, for whatever reason, Airfield never puts this in their instructions, but that is the control horns on all the control surfaces need to be put on. Now these are real easy to put on, just two screws. And then there's a backing plate. You hold the backing plate in, you put the screw through, and you start threading one, and then put the other one through, start threading that, and then just tighten them down, just snug them down. So I went ahead and did all that. I also went ahead and put all the plastic pieces on. I use Gorilla Glue. Really like this stuff. It kind of foams up and fills in the gaps. It's really tight. I like it better than the stuff that comes with the plane. It's your choice what you use on it. I used to be a real big fan of epoxy, but since I started using Gorilla Glue, it takes a little bit longer to dry, but I find that it actually does harden up a lot better and holds things in place better. So I went ahead and put the plastic pieces on. There wasn't much, just these two plastic pieces. And then on the wings, I'm going to grab the wing here to show you. There's this part here that attaches the wing strut onto, so that's glued in place. And then on the other side of the wing, you've got the antenna, so I put that on as well. So everything else I'm going to show you here, I just did those because those are really not that big of a deal to do. I didn't think I needed to have a whole section dedicated to that. So let me put the landing gear on, and then we'll move to the next step. Okay, got the landing gear all on. Watch out for the heads on those. They kind of looks like they want to strip out really easy. I had one strip out, but the landing gear is still holding on, so I'm not too concerned about it. I may replace it at a later time. So the next step is to put the vertical and horizontal stabilizers on. So take the horizontal stabilizer here, and these are glued into place. Again, I'm going to use some Gorilla Glue, and I've got a little bit of water here in a cup. I'm just going to take my finger and dip it in the Gorilla Glue, or excuse me, the water, and rub it on there. And that helps the Gorilla Glue bond quicker. It makes it foam up a little bit quicker, and it seems to make it bond harder. So I'm going to take the Gorilla Glue, and I'm not going to use much on this because this stuff really foams up, so I'm going to use a thin layer all the way around, like so. Hopefully you can see it there. A little bit on there, a little bit on there, a little bit down in this corner, down in that corner. Now you don't want, the reason I'm saying you don't want too much is because when this stuff foams up, it really foams up, and you don't want it squirting out the edges and stuff. So just going to take that, and there's a little wire here. This is for the tail light. I'm going to stick that up in the air like that, and we're going to work it so that that wire comes up through, and it's not going to. So I'm going to put that right there. I can see the wire. I'm going to take a pair of needle nose pliers. Going to reach down in there. Hopefully I can reach it with these. Pull that wire up through just like that. Okay. Set that into the proper position. There we go. And then we're going to do the same thing on the vertical stabilizer. Going to take a little bit of water here and just put it on there. It doesn't need much. I don't know what it is about the water, but it does make it stick better. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue across here, like this. Hold it down here where you can see it. A little bit of glue down through there. And looks like I can do a little bit of glue right in there as well. Okay, we'll call that good. We're going to take this wire, we're going to hook that up. There's only one way that this can go. I'll grab a paper towel here because I'm getting glue on my fingers. And so we're going to go red to red, black to black. So it goes just like that. Okay. I'm going to kind of tuck that wire back down in as we're putting this in place. So I'm going to kind of push that down in as good as I can. Oh, I forgot glue up on this front part. Let's do that all the way up the length here. Take a little bit of water. And I'm going to have to kind of glue at a weird angle here. So just take a little strip. Just like that. I'm just going to spread it out just a little bit with a glue bottle tip here. Like that. Okay, now we'll put this into place. Tuck this down in. Squeeze that in. Make sure that this push rod is underneath. Okay. That is in place. I got a little bit of glue on this push rod, so I'm just going to clean that up. Make sure I didn't get any glue on there. Now, one thing I want to watch here is I want to make sure that I didn't get any glue on the elevator, on this this little cross member that hooks the two pieces of the elevator together. So I'm just going to keep track of that as it dries. And that finishes the vertical and horizontal stabilizer assembly. And we'll set it up. And we'll move on to the next portion. Okay, the prop and spinner are up next. This should be a real easy install. Just take the nut off the end here. This is a kind of neat little nut. You could actually use this as a spinner if you break the stock spinner. So just take that off, just like that. Put the back part of the spinner on, just like that. Okay. And then take your prop. Make sure you got it on the right direction. And only goes in one way. I'm going to put this spinner right back on, or this nut right back on, just like that. And since the back part of the spinner locks onto the motor, we should just have to hold on to the prop here to tighten this down. I'm just going to take that screwdriver that came with it and put it through that hole and just give it a little bit of a turn, snug it up good there, just like that. Take the spinner. The spinner just snaps into position. Let me get in a little bit better position here to get it. That's all there is to it. Just snaps right on, just like that. Next up is the wing halves. You've got this center spar that goes through the wings here. And what I'm going to do is, that's a very tight fit into the hole here for the wing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a little bit of petroleum jelly and just going to put a little bit on that, just make it slide in there a little bit easier. And the reason I'm doing this is, you know, if you didn't want this to come apart, then you'd probably be okay. You could even take some glue after you get it in there and put a little bit of glue down through here and glue these wing halves together. I want it to come apart in case I want to transport it somewhere. So I want it to go in there a little bit easier. So it goes in just like that. Wipe off the excess. I'm going to put a little bit on this side too. Don't need a whole lot. Maybe a little bit more than that. That should be good enough. Wipe my hand off. And we'll put it in there. Get lined up. Try not to break these. There we go. The two wing halves are together. And one thing I should show you on here as well, when I hooked up when I put on the control horns, I also hooked up the controls going to the servo. Now I'll probably have to readjust these once I get them hooked up. Once I get all the wiring and stuff hooked up and the battery hooked up, I'll have to readjust these so to make sure that they're level and stuff. But that'll be the last thing on the list probably before actually giving a flight. So I just want to show you that I did have those hooked up, and the two wing halves are together. And now we're ready to put it on the fuselage.